It's interesting how we don't hear much about Malcolm X anymore, isn't it? Just a decade ago, his name was invoked by more black activists than any other iconic figure, including Martin Luther King Jr., but in the modern woke era, Malcolm X has been cast aside by the very same black activists, just like Martin Luther King before him, and there's a good reason for this. The answer lies in who controls the woke message today, thus controlling the black movement, and Malcolm X tried to warn his people of this almost 60 years ago. Most people only know of Malcolm X's vision of an independent black American nation, which was at direct odds with Martin Luther King's vision of a united America under universal civil rights and principles. What most people don't realize is that Malcolm X received tacit support from the American Nazi Party, led under George Lincoln Rockwell. Now, on the surface, it would appear counterintuitive for two racist political groups to unite under a common cause, but the American Nazi Party and the Nation of Islam shared the same goal. They both wanted to racially divide the United States into at least two separate nations. Neither group wanted to enslave nor genocide the other. They both just wanted a chance to live among and care for their own kind. Now, it's obvious that the motive behind their joining of political forces was to achieve success through larger consensual numbers. But there was a second agreed upon motive too, one that eludes most of those who even knew of this multiracial, racist cause. Both Malcolm X and George Lincoln Rockwell knew of a third, equally racist party, one that sought to subjugate both white and black Americans alike by exploiting the racial tensions between them. Malcolm X, on several occasions, even named who this third party was, and observed how they commandeered the civil rights movement from the blacks themselves, originally led by Martin Luther King, which was the greatest cause for the schism between these two black activist groups of the 1960s. Curiously enough, after a few years of both Rockwell and Malcolm X joining forces and naming this shadowy and subversive third party, both leaders were assassinated, supposedly by their own party members, according to official sources, a story that neither group believes today. Personally, I am a proud American mongrel, one who reveres the United States as a nation of conscience rather than of blood, and if her diverse citizenry were to adopt her foundational principles, values, and goals once again, we could forego our petty tribal differences and live equally free and equally prosper under one national identity. I am philosophically at odds with both black and white nationalists, and I have debated both for many years. But I don't fault either one for loving their own people. And if one day most Americans, of all races, decided that the best course of action for the prosperity of their own respective people was to finally manifest the shared vision of both Malcolm X and George Lincoln Rockwell, then who am I to interfere as one man? It's a better alternative to suffering under an imperialist system, be it through militaristic or fiat means. Now, for the conclusive question, who is this third party that Malcolm X tried to warn his people of? Well, there had been many independent public voices that did name them in the past, and their careers were horribly destroyed afterwards. So it is up to every individual to seek the answer for himself. For most, it will be the only way that they'll believe the answer anyways, as most initially reject it. I did. But I can give you one clue. They're the same ones who designed and funded the woke movement today.